So welcome everybody, I guess officially to a special edition call it whatever you want. This is a podcast me and Dennis have been doing for a number of years, close to 10, probably 9 or 8 or 9 for sure. 12, 13?
2012.
So, long time. We don't do it as often as we should, but here we are. I think we need a breather. We need a cool off from a little fantasy football talk for at least this week. We'll see. But for now, we want to put some content out for you guys. So we're here. Once again, thanks to Tom for hosting us on his Twitch, TPOP1993. If you're watching, please give it a follow if you're not followed. Subscribe if you'd like.
Or even subscribe.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks again to Tom. I'm Mike. Joining me, longtime co-host, it's Dennis. You've seen him before, but officially co-host of the Five Ball Podcast.
Hey guys, I'm Dennis.
Oh.
I'm Chris Farley. No, I'm not. Welcome guys. So we're gonna let it run.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about hockey. We've been talking about Mountain Dew and Mike Francesa for the last 10 minutes. Really, wherever we're at, it's just
Mike. Somewhere out there, Mike Francesa just knows we're talking about him.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna riff a little bit, Bruce. I can't seem to pull Thom's thing up. If you want to just copy and paste it and potentially post it in the subreddit, that would be kind of cool. If you don't want to, I totally get that.
Do you want me to post my link in our group?
I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Post it wherever you want. I don't care. Here, let me do this.
No, I mean for you guys if you're gonna post it on the subreddit.
We're gonna post it on the subreddit. Yeah.
Yeah, let me do it now.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Hey, while we're doing this, I just want to say thank you guys for allowing me to be on this podcast, this long-standing podcast of 9 years. I feel honored. I feel honored to be part of it. All right, and I hope I just don't fuck things up so bad where you just don't want me on anymore, dude.
Listen, dude, there's a lot of pressure here. The scouts are out, for sure. Twitch Beat Bustin's taking notes. I'm taking notes. This is absolutely taking notes. It's kind of funny because a lot of podcasts have come and gone with all of us, but I feel like this is the one that has kind of hung around, kind of like a really bad hangover. Nobody really wants to talk about it, but it's there. That's this type of podcast. And originally we started out as a real clickbaity type of please watch us. What was it? We said in 2013 that the Vancouver Canucks were going to be the worst team in the league. We weren't that far off though with them being garbage. They were I think a year later they were really, really bad. But we definitely did the clickbait stuff of Vancouver Canucks suck.
Wait, what year did they go to the final? Was that 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they lost to the Bruins.
And at one point they had the Sedins, but no one else, right? So it was just these guys are just hanging on.
Well, they still have the Sedins.
I had an idea because those that initial podcast YouTube channel is still out there. I don't know if we know
because I lost. I don't know what the email or login is, so it's just there. When we redid it for the little bit, I just made a whole new channel, and I think at this point we have the Not Stupid Podcast channel. So I think anything going forward, we would just post on that to make everything a one stop. By the way, Not Stupid Podcast on YouTube. If you'd like to give us a shout out there, follow, subscribe, whatever the hell you do on YouTube. I can't keep up.
Yeah, hey, that would be the channel, Not Stupid Podcast on YouTube. Also, little semi-announcement here. I know I don't want to take away.
By the way.
What's that?
All one word, Not Stupid Podcast.
Oh yeah, Not Stupid Podcast, one word on YouTube. Thank you, Dennis. I have a mini announcement here. I know it's really just because I know Dennis and Mike would want to hear about this. On Friday, me and Kyle are starting up our podcast again. Yep, this is what we were talking about. We're probably going to rebrand the name because for some reason, for those of you that don't know, we kept getting copyright striked. We were stricken, and they said we violated terms of service. We did all these things. We went to YouTube jail. So we're going to change the name of the podcast. We don't know what we're going to rebrand it to or anything, but Friday is going to be our first recording day. So, and we'll probably get it up Friday too because Kyle's going to be over here.
Are you going to post it on just Not Stupid Podcast, or you guys are going to do a whole separate channel?
I don't know what we're going to do. I'll keep you in the loop, but I'm going to speak to Kyle, see what he wants to do.
You guys get it
I'm
up
excited.
for sure.
Also, Twitch says voltage for the win.
Ooh,
How's
wait,
that?
which flavor was that?
That's the blue one.
Oh, I don't know.
That's
Did they make
That's
one?
a third for me, but it's still good. It's still better than the regular one.
Well, it was
I
like I
think-
said earlier. The flavors are so much better than the regular Mountain Dew,
I agree.
like by a mile.
Well, hold on. I have a question. So we said our best. Do you have a worst besides the original? Do you have a worst Mountain Dew flavor? I think I
The
have.
flavors are there.
Oh,
I have to
man.
pull up. Let me pull up a list.
Yeah, there's so
It's funny, you know. I'm
many.
thinking about this when I was somewhere at something they had like Mountain Dew sampling. It's like 5 years ago. That was the last time I had Mountain Dew, and I say that, and I can't tell you.
Do
Oh,
tap
what I
room. Craft Mountain Dew.
No, but bro, that's exactly what it was. It was like
Bro.
a flight of Mountain Dew.
Bro, I'm glad you said that because on this Facebook page that I'm in, the group,
Yeah.
these guys treat it like it's a fucking craft beer. They're like, yeah, you got to go get this limited brew. I'm like, all right.
Here we go.
I feel
Oh,
like that's.
you know what?
I feel like those are shit posts.
I forgot all about this. Baja Blast.
Oh, that's a good one too, bro.
I forgot all
Not,
about Baja Blast.
not as good as Livewire. Not as good
No,
as
it's
Livewire.
not. But I
No.
like forgot. Did they finally make that like available anywhere but Taco Bell, or is that still?
I saw
like,
I saw it today in 12 packs.
Oh, so it is. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it. The secret's out. I mean, what is it? It winds up being
It's a line-
it's just
it
blue
says-
Powerade Mountain Dew. Right?
That's pretty much
Yeah.
what the consensus is. I mean, it's good, right? But I feel like when it was a Taco Bell exclusive, I wanted it more. You know,
It was like an exclusivity thing. You know what I mean? Like
That's what
it's
it
like
is.
that bourbon you got from down at Jack Daniels. It was like it's all right, but like the fact that I can only get this there makes it like
bro. So I found out
I
there's like
totally agree with you.
there's a couple places currently that have exclusive Mountain Dew flavors. Right? I learned again this Facebook group. I'm telling you guys, I learned that KFC has its own flavor.
I haven't been to KFC
What
in
is
forever,
it?
so I
What is
wouldn't.
it? Just Mountain Dew? What is it? Mountain Dew and grease? Is that like what the flavor is?
No, it's called Lightning something, and it's basically a honey flavor Mountain Dew.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, the honey I've heard of. Yeah,
So there's
Nice
that, and then
brew.
I don't know if they still do, but Applebee's had their own exclusive too. It was like a berry blast flavor.
Come on, Applebee's
I know.
isn't on the Mountain Dew exclusive game.
Yeah, they're drinking good in the neighborhood now.
Is Applebee's the worst chain?
No,
no. I feel like I'd rather.
Applebee's is pretty far down the list for me.
I
Thinking
attribute
chains.
like Applebee's is like being a divorced dad. Like
Right,
that's
no,
what-
that category. I think Applebee's is at the
Is
bottom.
it
Yeah.
like all right? So like TGI
Chili's at the
Fridays.
top.
See, I don't like Chili's.
I like
Right.
Chili's. I like Chili's.
I like-
but
I'm a TGI Fridays guy. If I had to pick,
really, so TGI Fridays at the bottom for me.
Like, why those mozzarella sticks are ridiculous, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm whatever
Yeah.
with Fridays.
But Applebee's boneless wings are really good.
Yeah, that's true. They're all pretty much the same, if we're being honest. Like they're all kind
You're
of.
right.
It's all like a microwave food made up by a pissed off like 22-year-old.
The Chili's chips, man. I can eat 10 pounds of those. Like the
That's
thin,
true.
salty chips. They're so good.
I'll give you that. I think Chili's is probably the best out of the divorced dads group.
Yeah.
But I'd
Where does
much
that-
rather
where
just
does-
go. What's up?
Where does that category end? Is it
See,
like
that's what I was
Fridays,
gonna say.
Applebee's, Chili's? Like what's considered not like
So
what's a chain that's a proper date restaurant, like casual chain in that category?
You could
Texas
take-
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Texas
But-
Roadhouse.
I used to take my ex-girlfriend to Friendlies on dates. That was like where I was at. I
For
love
the honey barbecue chicken super
Bro.
melt.
What else do you get there? There's literally like I know there's a menu, but I've never seen anything else on it. Like
I've never been to a Friendlies before.
what that country song is. I don't need this menu. Like whatever that song is. Like that's just me. Like when I walk. in
I
there.
know just what I want.
Exactly that song. Yeah, I don't know who sings that song, but it's catchy as hell. But
don't
as
either.
most country songs are. But I'm going to post this link now.
Yeah, do it.
So if we want to, it'll probably get deleted just because I don't know what the
Whatever. It
rules
is what
of.
it is. I mean,
Loser Rex.
I posted this in one of the subreddits for like when we were doing the trade thing, and it never got deleted. So
By
I
the way,
posted
Twitch
it on the actual subreddit. So
Twitch me
Oh.
bussin' says the worst Mountain Dew flavor is Code Red.
uh,
I don't think so. That's a good
No,
I
flavor.
think dude, I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Code
to be
Red,
honest.
but a lot of this for me is Code Red just brings me back to when I was like 13.
Yeah.
Like because that's crazy. Code Red's been out because I remember when it first came out. I was like, oh, what's this red Mountain Dew? This is wild.
And it was life changing.
At the time, bro, yeah, there's nothing else
Just
going
'cause
on
it
in
was
life.
new.
Life was easy.
It's like when you got PlayStation 2. Like it was good.
Oh,
but,
bro,
like,
yeah.
I will say
good,
this.
you know what I mean? Like,
When I was in Florida, I liked it a lot because they had at the Publix where I was, they had Diet Code Red.
Ooh,
I've
interesting.
seen that before.
Yeah, see, I can't find it up here. Look, everyone in stream, I like diet soda. I just prefer it over regular soda. Not for any nutritional value, whatever. I don't care. I drink soda.
Love that aspartame.
I'm a big
It's not-
aspartame guy.
It gets a bad rap. You literally have to drink like 15 like Diet Cokes like a day for it to like really be like. Obviously, it's not good.
Oh, I better slow down then.
I better limit that to 14.
What was the
That's
report
nice.
that what was the report that came out? Donald Trump had a button in the Oval Office that he would press it and somebody would bring him a Diet Coke.
Yeah. I aspire to be that lazy.
That's
You know what?
hilarious.
I used to see with like the aspartame. I used to drink sugar-free Red Bull. Like it was going out
Okay.
of style. When I worked security, that's all I drank. And then after a while, when I kept getting the shakes, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop doing this.
I'm not a Red Bull
to when I used to like do the drives from Buffalo back and forth, I would like at the one stop I would get like because the big monster cans are always like 2 for $4 or whatever, so I would get a coffee and the 2 monsters and just
and buy
Golly.
buy cocaine from the guy in the back.
Yeah,
as
what
well.
the fuck?
I-
Yo, I'll tell you this: when I was
I've
when I was
moved on from
driving
that, man.
when I was driving from Nashville, I got a 5-hour energy.
Good. I've never had one. I've
Well,
never had
let me
one.
explain something to you. Number
They're
one,
stupid.
I think it's a fucking scam. Number one, they taste like shit. They're awful. Number two, no extra energy at all.
It's all just like vitamins and stuff. It's
Yeah,
not
no,
like really
it's
like
all
caffeine.
Like
It
at
was
that
like-
point, just get like the Red Bull or whatever for like the taste or the actual drink, not like a stupid shot. Like that-
It was awful,
those like
bro.
Monster Zeros are really good too.
That's
But, like
the white can?
just any of
the
those
white
like zero
I think
ones.
so, yeah. The white one's pretty good.
I'm a Red Bull guy through and through. Like I think Red Bull's the best out of all of them.
It is.
It's the most expensive, but hey, let me pivot right here because I did post that link, and I just want to
yeah.
get your guys' opinion. And if you're joining us or if you're around, if you're Twitch beat bussin', our boy, I gotta ask because I actually I got some numbers today from somebody actually in the Rangers subreddit.
Okay.
It's kind of alarming to me, but first and foremost, I want to get to Fox won the Norris. That's pretty cool. Like
The first Ranger since Brian Leach to win the award, the 4th Ranger overall. And I want to start by just saying I'm not a big like awards guy. Like it's nice if one of your players that you're a fan of wins it, but for me, like I don't lose sleep over it. Like I know it comes down to voting. I know some people put a lot of stock into it, but like if Adam Fox didn't win the Norris, it's not going to all of a sudden like change my opinion of the guy. I was like, oh, he didn't win the Norris. Like this guy sucks.
Yeah.
send him down to the Jacksonville Icemen.
Shouts out
Big
to
news.
Jacksonville.
Saw their jerseys. They're not very good.
No, hopefully they rebrand. But listen, you know what? I say all that award stuff, but yeah, this one was pretty cool to have him win it because I think everyone expected another. Oh, Victor Hedman's on Tampa, and Tampa's good, so here you go. Here's your trophy.
I think Makar was on pace. Get it? Had he not got hurt, but he did obviously. And I'm just glad they did the right thing and gave it to the guy that actually like deserved it this year because Makar didn't play enough. And Hedman really wasn't that good until like towards the end of the
Second half.
season. I think he led the league by a little bit in points, but like defensively, I just plus what he's asked to do in comparison to what like Fox is asked to do. Like even what Makar's asked to do is like night and day.
I think, and
Yeah.
that goes into it a lot for me with these awards is like someone like Fox. Like if you took Hedman off Tampa, Yeah, it'll take a dip in quality a little bit, but they're not. They all of a sudden wouldn't be this awful team. If you took Fox off the Rangers, they'd be pretty goddamn awful, and they weren't really that good to begin with, and so
What?
they would have been even worse.
Because then your top pairing becomes what, Trouba and Lindgren.
Lindgren,
Then after that, it's just like
it's a
falls.
wasteland.
Well, I mean Keandre Miller, but then it's you.
Yeah,
You
right.
don't have two solid lines, and you don't have
No.
a number one shutdown defenseman. So
No, the Rangers'
Same.
future on defense looks good. Even let's say we didn't have Fox, it still looks pretty promising. But you
Yeah.
add Fox to that mix, and our defense looks primed for the future, which is good because we have a goalie. I say we. Spoiler alert: we're all Ranger fans here.
what?
Oops. So we have a goalie that always gets hurt so far in his career, and a solid
true.
backup. So to be honest with you,
Okay, one of those was a car
I think-
accident. Let's relax.
I know, but I like our goaltending tandem. It needs a little more experience, and that's where the
I think
defense
I-
is going to kick in.
Yeah, I think I just like
Georgiev.
Benoit
I'm
Allaire.
off,
He's like
I'm
the
off Georgiev. His rebound control is miserable. Like I
could-
can see why they like him, and I think Tom can probably speak to this a little bit more because he was a goalie and is a goalie. No former athletes, just more washed up, but it's truly. But I think Georgiev, I can see why they like him because he's so athletic and he's laterally really good and just he makes some saves sometimes that you're like, wow, how did you? But like the simple stuff, like his those pucks that you're supposed to swallow, or his glove hand, not great. I don't think he's great. I think
he's
if
he
Benoit
looks
Allaire
lost.
can't fix them,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
He looks lost on every breakaway. Also, like every time you're just like, well, all right, you might as well just move out of the way and like open the nets at some point.
He swims in his crease a lot too. Like he swims his crease a lot.
I also think we take certain things for granted because I do think he's one of the top third backup goalies in the NHL.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
for sure.
I agree with that. Yeah, but there's people that are convinced that like, well, if Sirkin gets hurt, he's the starter, no doubt.
Well,
about
that's what
it.
we did when we had Maxine Talbot, or not Maxine Talbot, Cam Talbot.
I knew you were gonna do that. No, but like I thought. Talbot's a much better player than Georgiev is.
Is he though? Because he's had his struggles.
Did you not watch Minnesota's postseason this year? Talbot was lights out.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
plus when Lundqvist went, when Talbot was on Edmonton and Calgary, both those teams were dumpster fires when he was there. And he goes to a team that has a solid defense like Minnesota, and he plays pretty well. Even when he played with the Rangers, when Lundqvist went down with that jugular thing, he kind of just picked it right up where Lundqvist left off. Obviously not as great, but obviously there's a difference because the team. Watching Lundqvist for the better part of a decade, you and everybody knows that the team always played different in front of the backup because with Lundqvist it was just like, it's just he's got it. He's got it. But now, I don't really buy into the whole like, oh, we'll ship him to Edmonton for 3 first-round picks. It's like I don't really think he's that good. I think if he's your backup, I think that's fine. To be honest, I actually really like the kid below him, Huska. I think he might get a crack at it at the backup spot.
He's good. I think with Georgiev, you have to understand, we couldn't even get a first-round pick for him when he was at his peak 2 years ago now. We tried to ship him off for a first-rounder, and nobody bit. So we're
I once recall a time when Rangers fans thought they could get Leon Draisaitl for Cam Talbot once upon a time. So don't put anything past Rangers Twitter as far as what a player's worth.
Rangers Twitter, man.
Sabres Twitter for that matter.
Oh my god, dude.
That's a conversation we'll get to. But
Yeah.
I feel bad for Sabres fans. I'm just going to say I do feel bad for them.
I don't.
I know enough. I know a few people. I do feel bad for them because like every
It's a
time
very
he tries to
passionate fan
rebuild-
base. A fan base that cares, and the Pagulas just don't give a shit
Right.
about the Sabres.
Right.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
She runs the Sabres, right?
I thought we
Terry
had
does?
I thought we had this discussion that I think it's Terry does the Bills and I think Kim does a lot of the hockey stuff.
It's flipped. Yeah.
It's flipped. So I forgot because we literally had a discussion 2 weeks ago and I just forgot all about it. I forgot which way it went.
That's a natural segue. So, I just want your guys' opinion. Do you want him? Do you want him? And that by
Do I want Eichel? I don't know yet. He's a very good player, but if the Rangers Eichel seems like if he's on, he almost seems like Taylor Hall. Like Taylor Hall, when he's on a good team, is very motivated, and we saw that when Hall went to Boston, and he actually seemed like he remembered how to play. Because it wasn't like, I mean, whatever, Buffalo was a dumpster fire, but it wasn't like Hall played with scrubs the whole year. The guy sucked, and then he magically goes to a better team and he produces at least a little bit. But Eichel, man,
Hall
he's
wasn't
got
making $10 million a year. That's the difference.
not true. I know the salary was lower, but still. But either way, a guy like Eichel, I mean, he's got that neck issue. I mean, he wants to have some kind of surgery. The Sabres didn't let him.
Experimental surgery. It's not even like it's. I don't know. Dom, what do you think there?
I'm interested in Eichel if we don't have to give up Zibanejad.
I don't think you do though. I don't think you give up one for the other.
I don't think the package
that's counterproductive.
Like
you know what I mean?
the package. This kind. I think this Sabres Buzz deleted Twitter because I'm searching it and it's just like nothing's loading.
I see. Oh, I have the screenshot because I sent it to
Okay.
my buddy. I sent it to my buddy Steve. Hold on, I have the screenshot.
While you pull that screenshot up, we got a Go Kings Go. And we have Buffalo reminds me of Whalers hat guy. Bad.
Oh, Matt. Yes, he's back. He's back. He's back.
Tweet bussin'. It took a while to get warmed up. But he's bringing
me
the
on a
heat
roll.
now.
I don't know, man. If he's like hurt, but what if the Rangers are bad when Eichel comes over? Like, what if Eichel doesn't do anything?
I don't know. I
Oh,
think
all
he's
right.
super
So
talented,
I don't mean him in terms of like moving the needle for the Rangers. Like if you're gonna dump a few guys, but what's it gonna take? Niels Lundqvist in a first.
The player I want contract I don't. And before I say my opinion on it, I'm gonna read the Sabres Buzz tweet that quote tweeted Larry Brooks. Jury will have to pay a massive price to acquire Eichel in the form of Lafreniere, Shesterkin, Kreider plus a top 10 pick. Oh wait, the Rangers don't own a top 10 draft choice in 2021. They have the 15th. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. Wouldn't trade Lafreniere straight up.
I was gonna say I wouldn't trade
because I don't think the value's there. I just don't want to do it.
I wouldn't trade to Sturkin for Eichel straight up, to be honest. Like
so the reason why I'm willing to do this Eichel deal is because it's a gamble, right? It could not work, or it could put us over the edge to win a fucking Stanley Cup.
I tend to partly agree with that, but all right. So listen to this. I don't know if this will change your mind. This is what I wanted to bring up. This is like the long-winded thing. So in the Rangers subreddit today, I was having a conversation with somebody about Eichel and how it's like a little fatiguing to continually talk about it. So with Fox winning the Norris now, he's on his last year of the ELC this upcoming season. And they're gonna lock him up, and I think they might try to do it this off season. And assuming. I don't want to assume because I don't want to sound like Nick here and be like, he's going to take a hometown discount. But he literally told Carolina the only team he would go to is the Rangers. So maybe a little bit of a discount. So you got to figure Fox is going to make around at least 8.5, 9. I think that's fair to say for like 8 years.
Is Trouba at 8?
7.5, I think Trouba is
so then at or above Trouba for sure.
Would say like 9. Maybe 8 for 8.5, 8 for 9. So you got to figure this. So Fox at 9 million, and I'm going to shout him out. Unfortunate -- tourist. He told me I didn't have to shout him out, but I'm going to because I asked permission to use his data. Fox at 9.0 AAV would have a 46.8% of cap dedicated to Fox, Panarin, Trouba, Lindgren, and Kreider until 07, 01, 24, the earliest. This is when Kreider and Trouba's no movement clauses kick in and Lindgren's contract expires. Adding Eichel would have 59.1% of cap spread across 6 players, 40.9% left over for right wing 1, right wing 2, right wing 3, right wing 4, left wing 3, left wing 4, 2C, 3C, 4D, 5D, 6D, I think I forgot a number in there, and starting goalie and backup goalie. For reference, Toronto is paying 62.7% of the cap across 6 players in Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander, Riley, and Muzzin. We see how difficult it is for Toronto to manage their cap, and as fans who should not be rooting for the same mistake Dubas did, the above isn't even factoring in Lafreniere and Kakko, who we hope are good enough to have a significant payday. For that fact alone, I'm off it. I love the player. Jack Eichel is since he came to the league, one of the guys I like to watch. I think he's kind of underrated because he plays up in Buffalo. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, he kind of fly. It's weird. He does fly under the radar because he was the McDavid year, and plus, he's not going to get the buzz from the Americans because Matthews plays as well as he does. But I don't want it. I mean, unless you can somehow move like Kreider's contract along with it, but I would even say Trouba, but like I don't want to move Trouba. I think Trouba's good. I mean, is he overpaid? Yeah, sure, but like he's good.
Defense sometimes.
You have to, and I'm off it. I really am, and that's alarming to me because again, too, and I think the big key point of that is that you hope that Lafreniere, Kakko, or any like Kravtsov or any of these young guys, including like a Keandre Miller, become good enough that they get a payday. And I don't think that this team is like a piece away from competing. Like if they were, I'd say, yeah, go do it. And then, in 2 years when these ELCs come up on some of these young guys, then so what? But yeah, I'm kind of
that's where we differ because I do think we're only one piece away.
I couldn't disagree more. Their bottom pair is terrible. I don't think the young kids are clearly. Kakko needs more development. I mean, people forget that you're not everybody's going to come in and be like a Connor McDavid and be great right away. Sometimes you need development. I think they're on the right path. I mean, even Lafreniere, who had all the hype in the world, even he clearly needed. Okay, you got to adjust, and you've seen it with him. But like, I just think they're too young, and that their bottom six just scares me in a playoff scenario because I mean, you've seen the last 4 teams that were left, like Vegas, Montreal, that other team from New York. Anyway, sorry, I had to dance on the grave a little bit. And Tampa, they're just built better. You know what I mean? And not more talented, but they're built better. And I think people confuse talent and being built the right way. I mean, Montreal's a perfect example of it.
I think it comes down to just if you have enough talent. Like up top, like I don't want to compare it to like a Pittsburgh, but you look at Pittsburgh in their glory years, and they basically filled out a lot of that roster with role players, and they could take anybody, throw them on a line with Crosby, and they were fine. So they spent their money on the stars that they knew helped them win, and then they just filled out the roster. Like I say that because if the Rangers, if all these young players can get to, I'm not saying they're going to be at Sidney Crosby's level, that's not fair. But if you can get a bunch of these guys to very talented, to close to elite status, you can sort of pay all those guys and then just fill out the roster each year with like find the role players that you like that fit the system. They can all play together, and then maybe you're close to a cup that way. It doesn't mean I want Eichel. I just mean going forward when yes, you have to pay all these guys. I don't think it's crazy to spend the money on all that and then just kind of fill out those role players every year, like a lot of those top teams do, whether it's Pittsburgh for a while, Chicago for a while, Tampa just finds all these guys now. I just think that's just how you
Tampa drafts really well, like really well. Right. I mean, Braden Point was a second-round pick, and so was Anthony Chiarelli.
But I feel like the Rangers also have been drafting very well, and I feel like we're 1 or 2 rookie players away from being really good. I mean, we were 16th overall in the NHL this year. We just didn't make the playoffs because we had awesome teams ahead of us. We were better than the team that's in the Stanley Cup final right now. So
yeah, I do think. Yeah, this year was a bit of a wash. I'd be curious to see how the season played out if you didn't play division games all year. Like if we didn't have to play, like if we didn't have to play the Islanders 8 times or the Capitals 8 times or Boston 8 times.
I'm so sick of that schedule.
It seems like they're going back to normal next year, which I can't wait for it next year. Just for one, I would like.
They pulled the players, and the players didn't like the divisions, but they not like the divisions, but like only playing the same teams over and over again. But the players really liked the like playoff style matchups, so kind of like baseball does, where you play 3 teams in a row. I guess because it's less travel if you think about it that way. Because if you're traveling, it's okay. We're going to be here for a day, so we're kind of just hunkered down. You know what I mean? As opposed to right, then we're leaving here, we're going to there, we're playing a back to back in Florida tomorrow. Like
oh no, I don't doubt that was absolutely a positive of not having to travel for sure. But I mean, I would love to see how the season would have played out normally with this roster. But I'm also, you know what? It's a new era because David Quinn's gone, and again, with this team, you're also going to have a new coach. So I don't know how many
New
changes
GM
Jury's
and the
going to
new
make.
president. They've lost.
Yeah, Chris
They've
Jury's
lost their
working a lot.
Tuomo Rutu was like one of their development guys. He just went to. He's an assistant with the Panthers now. By the way, you can't post stuff like this in the Rangers subreddit. So
Okay.
hashtag Team No Fun. So that's a thing.
Sounds about
Whatever.
sounds
So
about right.
it's still stupid, but it's a Rangers message board, and just because it's on Reddit, people take it way too seriously.
Is there like a hockey one you could put it in?
Could you could if you want, just put it in our hockey, but it's probably going to get lost in the shuffle. I mean, I don't care. You can totally
It
do
is
it.
what it is. What it is.
Put it on your
I've-
Twitch retweets.
I've never
thing.
used Reddit really. I already did that. So real quick about the divisions. I have a question for you guys. Listen, I'll just say I prefer the way the divisions used to be. 3 divisions, 5 teams each. Top 8 make the playoffs. Top team from each division is top 3 seed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like that way more than whatever system we've had since 2012 or whatever it was.
Because you get burned out because every year the playoffs is like Rangers Flyers or Flyers Penguins or across the board, and it's silly to do it because like what's like I don't understand the incentive. Like, oh, you win the division, so you get to play a lesser seeded team in the opposite division, but I feel like there hasn't been a year where divisions haven't been like lopsided. Like, okay, well, the number 1 team in the Atlantic gets to play the bad team in the Metro, but the Metro's awesome, so it's just not even. Then you end up with more teams like making the playoffs with just a lesser point total than teams that missed.
Well, it's a massive overreaction to back in the day. If you remember the old Southeast Division, if you remember that when like the Thrashers were in it and the Panthers, and when
Bring back the Thrashers.
Yeah, bring them back. Number 1, first and foremost.
So they can leave again.
Well, the problem with so they could NHL could try a 3rd time in Atlanta. That's what it is because the problem is that 3 seed was playing the 6 seed and just getting smoked. That's if you remember correctly when the Rangers won their first playoff series in was it 06, 07? I can't remember what year it was.
2007 against Atlanta when we swept them.
Yeah, I was at the game when they swept them. That's a true story.
I believe Sean Avery scored a goal where he shot it down and it banked off like the boards were fucked up and the puck just
in Atlanta. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys want to feel old real quick about that? When that game was going on, I was on my 8th grade field trip to Washington D.C.
I was in 9th grade. I remember that specifically. That picture. So me and my cousin Mike, who's also a big Rangers fan, me and him at the end of the game took a picture together with like they were giving out like those like a face cutout of Hank, like a stick, and we took it. And it was the first picture I put on Facebook. And back when I had it, and I remember that because I remember that was in 9th grade. I didn't have like any facial hair or anything like that. So, but that was the problem. All right, let me ask you, Thom. Who were the 2 goalies that Atlanta played that series? Do you remember?
Holy buckets!
You'll get one. One was pretty good. The other one wasn't.
I think I know
good.
one.
Was Kari Lehtinen on the team then or no?
Ari Lehtinen was the starter.
Okay.
They went back and forth with the 2 goalies. Do you remember the other one?
I might know the backup if you don't.
Well, take your guess.
Johan Hedberg?
It was Johan Hedberg.
Oh.
It was Johan Hedberg. I thought I was gonna stump you guys with that. I'm actually proud of that. I actually have another hockey trivia question for you, Thom. And
I love
Bruce,
that, dude.
if you'd like. So this is a 2-parter.
Uh-oh.
And this goes back. So everybody knows. So 1926 is the year that the NHL acknowledges the original 6, right?
Yeah.
So do you know the first year the NHL formed as the NHL?
You mean not the 1926 year?
Googling it.
No. First year of the NHL, was it like 1918?
Close. Go one down. Just go one down.
Oh, 17?
So it's 1917. That's really not the question I want to ask. I just wanted to see if you knew that.
That was close enough.
So we all know the original 6 teams: Bruins, Blackhawks, Rangers, Wings, Habs, and Maple Leafs. Were the original 4 NHL teams? I will give you a hint They are all Canadian.
Oh,
The original 4 NHL teams, like before 1926.
1927. I'm sorry, 1917.
was
The
gonna-
inception of the NHL.
Okay.
What were the 4 original teams?
is that like Toronto? Like, I know they weren't the Maple. Isn't it like,
Yes, what were they? What were they?
not like the St.
Toronto had
Patrick's or
another
something? Because didn't they wear those retros not that long ago?
Say it again. You kind of broke up there when you
Like the
said
St.
that.
Patrick's or something? Or something like
They
similar? Like,
became the next year they became the St. Patrick's. What were they
wow.
initially?
I only
Did
guessed that
throwback
'cause
jerseys of them recently.
that's what I was getting at. That's
Oh.
why I guessed
Or
it. I
blue.
couldn't
They
tell
were
you.
blue and white.
They weren't so you said the St. Pats, so it's St. Pats.
It's what they were just before that.
Fuck.
I have no clue.
All right, it's the Toronto Arenas. Or the Toronto Arenas. Now, what were the other 3?
All right, there's got to
One-
be a team in Quebec, right?
2. There's 2.
Okay.
Nothing.
Well, the
One of them is still around today, so the Montreal Canadiens, correct.
the Canadians, and then the other one. Why do I know this? Fuck. Why do I know this?
I'm out on this. I'm terrible with things.
So skip that one. I'll get. So the hint of that is it's Montreal something.
Okay.
So the other
This
team
is tough business, dude.
initially was an initial founding member. A founding member went on hiatus, moved, expanded as a franchise, then came back in the 90s.
Are the Senators?
Ottawa Senators, or initial NHL team in 1917. And
Okay.
can you get the other Montreal team?
All right. So what do we have so far? The Canadians.
Canadians, the
Senators.
Arenas, and the Senators.
I already forgot the arenas.
I'm confusing my cities because Vancouver used to be the Millionaires or something.
It's in but they weren't NHL.
I
They
know,
were the
I know. They're the other, yeah.
West Coast Hockey League.
Golly.
I'm thinking team
Oh.
names, and I'm like,
I told you they're
no.
in Montreal. They're in Montreal.
Montreal.
All right, I'm
All right, hold on. Don't say it. I want you
Wow,
to give me the first letter because I don't want to sound stupid by guessing my guess. It's W. Okay, yeah. So it's the Wanderers, right?
Yes, it's the
Okay.
Wanderers.
I could have sounded really stupid if it wasn't that.
So 1875, the first hockey game was played at Victoria Ice Palace in Montreal. I think it's the Victoria Ice Arena or something like that.
Yeah, it's now
So-
Rogers.
So the interesting thing about that is that the Montreal Canadiens, Les Habitants, were for the Francophones, and the Wanderers for the Saxa, whatever they call them, the English speaking residents of Montreal. So yeah, so the Wanderers disbanded and then became something else, but that's another trivia question for another day. So
Did they
Anyway.
become the Quebec Bulldogs?
that is correct.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on that. You've named you've named the Canadians, you've named the Wanderers, you've named the Bulldogs. Name the other 2 teams that have played in the NHL in the province of Quebec.
Jeez.
One of them is real easy.
Well, the Nordiques.
Correct. One more.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know this.
Montreal Maroons.
Oh, the Maroons. Fuck. Fuck, Twitch. Fuck.
sounds familiar. Damn.
I should have known that, dude. Oh, we got y'all are Rangers fans. How do you like Alec Martinez? Ha 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 ha.
We don't. Apparently, he's a free agent target of theirs. I've seen that a bunch of, and I'd actually.
I
like
don't
that.
fucking want him. Fuck him.
Just so they could just continually play it over and over and over again.
We could segue to that. How do you guys feel about the free agent class this year?
Alec Martinez.
I'm
Besides
just,
I
Alec
really-
Martinez.
I don't think the Rangers should really be going after anyone significant with the
Okay.
roster they have, and we're already
Bottom
talking about
six.
how,
Bottom six.
yeah, like we're already talking about how it might be a salary cap issue in a few years when all these rookies, if they're going to get paid, you're going to have trouble fitting them in. So the last thing I want to do is give somebody a 7-year, 5-year big contract just for this, for what? And I feel like hockey free agency is like insane because you have every year these third line guys get 5-year, $30 million deals, and then in 2 years these teams are like, why the hell?
David Clarkson. Clarkson. I'm pretty sure his contract is still on the books. I could be wrong, but
That's rough. That's
it's
rough.
kind of tough to say. I think, but like Chris Pronger was getting paid till like only like a couple of years ago. Like that salary
That was more because
now.
teams would take it on for the sake of like, they would get like compensation for taking it. So that one's like less than it, like, oh, well, we'll give you a first round pick to take this money off our books type of shit. I guess speaking of,
I'm just kind of looking at it now.
Yeah. I guess real quick with like the salary cap stuff, should the NHL change the rule with everyone up in arms with the Kucherov stuff and Tampa being over the cap? Yes. Should they just simply like change the rule and say the cap counts in the playoffs and you have to manage your books before the playoffs, or else there's like got to be some kind of penalty, or you just can't make certain trades? Because the Blackhawks did the same thing in 2015
been done before, right? Exactly.
But I mean, at this point, again,
a lot of the Islander fans crying about it, they would have done the same thing had Anders Lee been ready to come back. It would have been the same thing.
Yeah, true.
Because
to be fair, though, I think every team playing Tampa's bitch. So I just asked.
I think Tampa would have won even without this. I really do.
Well, I agree, but I'm just saying, is it something the NHL can simply change and say, listen, your cap's what it is? Like if you have players that are hurt, tough, you can't now, just because the guy's on long-term injured reserve, you can't add, Kucherov makes whatever, I don't know what he makes, $8 million or something. You can now add $8 million because it's not counting. It's not coming back. Like I feel like the NHL can simply change one rule and just be done with it, but should they? Getting into free agency talk as well.
I think.
Oh yeah, I think
they're gonna. I think they're gonna do something. I don't know necessarily what they can do. I personally don't see a problem with it. Like, you know what I mean? Because I mean, Kucherov had hip surgery. I mean, like he's not like he was under anesthesia and just faked it. You know what I mean? Like I
agree.
I don't know. I don't know what they can do. Maybe it's like there's only a threshold you can meet for like long-term injury reserve type of thing. But they're gonna do something. I just don't think it's a big deal. I really don't.
Right.
No, like I said,
neither do I.
Had this happened with the Islanders, Anders Lee would have been the same thing. It would. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Like it is.
Of course. No, again, I figure it's been a topic, so bring it up.
Yeah, I'm very. I don't know. I really don't know, because I could see how teams could abuse it. I don't think Tampa abused it this year. However, when you look at what they did and how it just worked out, kind of sucks for the teams that they played against.
Yeah. Or do you maybe not change like the cap rule, but do you then make long-term injured reserve like an NFL IR, where listen, if you go on this list, like you're done. Like because I mean. Definitely
but again, I'm going to harken back to this, though. It's like I understand that now it works, but like during the year, Tampa was out without their best player. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like they put him on this and just said, "All right, go chill." He had hip surgery. You need to tell me that during the year Tampa's a better team without him.
No, that's not what. That's not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, do you simply like change a rule, or you can make it where there's other injured lists? There's other injured lists, like besides long-term injured reserve, that you can put your guy on this, so you free up a roster spot.
Yeah.
But if a guy's gonna go on long-term injured reserve, then he's done for the year. You could have put Kucherov on whatever injured list or something to free up the roster spot. But then if you move him to like that long-term injured reserve, you can't bring him back. You almost need to give teams that, hey, if we're moving them here, freeing up this money, we can't bring them back.
Then that becomes a CBA issue that's got to be voted on. You know what I mean?
Right. Then, if it's voted on, like I said, however it needs, whatever the process would be to change it. Is it something that you'd be in favor of doing? Just maybe, maybe that's one way around it besides just saying, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah, but they're how are they? I still don't understand how they're $18 million over the cap. I still don't understand that. Whatever, like I said, it's been done before. It'll get done again, and it's not like it's a selective thing to Tampa. And like I said, it's had they not had Kucherov, like it maybe affects them because who they added? They added Savard at the deadline, and did they add anybody else? I know that they've had some of these guys for a while, but like I said, I mean, he had hip surgery. It's not like they faked hip surgery just so they could make these moves. And if he did, Kucherov is a crazy bastard for that. That's pretty sick. If he's like,
well played, Cooch.
Playing the long game, I see. I'm tired of this hip. I want another one. But
yeah, it paid off. It's going to pay off.
Back to your question about free agents. Ovechkin is a UFA at the end of the year, by the way. I don't know if you.
Yeah, he's definitely going to re-sign.
I would say so.
I know, but that would be pretty cool if he went and started.
What about Landeskog?
But see, it's tricky because I saw the other day that the Avs are actually, and like I know people say this all the time, and I don't necessarily think it'll happen, but like with a guy like Cale Makar, like an offer sheet could potentially be like something that could happen because I mean you saw Montreal do it with Aho.
Yeah,
they got to lock him up because I believe his contract is up at the end of this year. He is an RFA. But, I think he of all people, Landeskog might figure it out. Just I don't know. It becomes like who do you want to keep? Because I know McKinnon has come out and said that he's willing to take like a pay cut just to stay on that team. So if you're a big guy, if your like leader is saying that, I know Landeskog's the captain, but like it kind of trickles down. You know what I mean?
I wonder if now's. I also wonder if now's the time to sign these guys because the NHL's just signed 2 huge TV contracts. Probably going to end up with more money than they did with these NBC deals, just based on they have 2 major networks now.
Yeah,
so
give it a year or two. Give it a year or two. For that.
Right. So I know there's a flat cap going into the next year, but if you can fit, one of these guys, I'm not saying the Rangers should do it. They shouldn't be in the hunt for any of these top money guys. But if there's for one of these teams, if you can sign a guy for like $8 million or something, and then the cap only goes up, and then you have that extra money to play with. And then free agents getting signed at that point, almost how basketball works. Basketball cap keeps going up, and now, LeBron James is making $45 million instead of $30 million type shit, as opposed to here's this. Though. Yeah. No, right, but I mean the NHL could happen. It could happen again. Then the next top free agent, look what the cap is. I want $12 million now or some shit like that.
Yeah,
but maybe now is the best time to get one of these.
Basketball is way more demanding.
Also, they have like a luxury tax too, where the NHL really doesn't have that. So
the NHL is one level, whereas basketball, there's a million rules we can go over it and shit.
I actually like the way the NHL is very cut and dry with the salary cap.
Yeah,
I think all sports should have a salary cap. Like every sport should have a salary cap.
I'll forever be confused.
Cornhole or whatever.
the NHL is just the easiest to navigate. Like football, I'll never understand. Like, we have this guy making this as a cap, but we're just going to convert it to a signing bonus and free up cap space. It's just like it's crazy how there's so many ways to manipulate the rules in a sport like football. Whereas hockey, it's like, nope, you sign your guy for $8 million, so that's what it is for the next 7 years. So figure it out.
The margins for profit are like way tighter for like the NHL. It has to be more rigid. I didn't know Gary Bettman came from the NBA, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that. He was like the did not know that.
A lot of these commissioners come from, I don't know where the fuck Rob Manfred came from, but he should just go away. That's one commissioner. So I don't know where the fuck he came from.
Tough times in baseball.
Yeah.
I think as I'm playing MLB The Show right now.
I don't know. I think the Rangers should go for. They've got to retool their bottom 6. I know Cizikas is somebody I would love. If they could get Cizikas, I would overpay for him. I know he's a 4th liner, but he's so good at what he does. I would take somebody like him. I know Blake Coleman is a free agent. Martinook is a free agent. Fogel, those guys. Like those are the guys that like the Rangers need. Like and what's this? Greg Gallant has already come out and basically said we're not putting these young kids on the 4th line. Like so at that point,
I believe it this time. I'm like David Quinn. Oh yeah. Kretsov's not a 4th line player, but I'm going to play him there anyway. And
I will say this.
Wow, why is he not improving?
About Cizikas, I don't see a world where the Islanders don't sign Cizikas. I don't see it.
But do you though? Because they already had to trade Devon Taves for basically pennies because they already have a cap issue. Paul Mary's a free agent.
Yeah, Green's gone.
He's a free agent. And I understand, but like you might have to cut ties because at that point, I think they put Komarov on that fourth line. I think they might have to because if I'm the Rangers, I'm throwing like $3.5 million at him and 4 being like, bro, we need you. Like,
yeah, but if I'm the Islanders, I'm like, hey, if I'm in the management, like, hey, we fucking need Cizikas on this team. It's important. Right. He's a very important player. Numbers aside, he's obviously a very important player. You see that. Obviously, I know you see that. But I just can't see them just letting him walk, especially to the Rangers.
The Islanders need goal scoring, and Palmieri is somebody that needs to come back. Like, needs to come back.
Yeah, you're right. Are they still paying Ladd?
Yes, they are. They are.
It's scary. It's scary that they're so good and they're still paying Ladd.
Here, if we're looking at the Rangers,
it's because they have a bunch of average guys that buy into a system. You know what I mean? It's like
so what the Rangers did in the 2010s, early 2010s.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's not necessarily true because they had Marian Gaborik and they had Brad Richards and they had Rick Nash. Like that's not entirely true.
Well, you also just named 2 guys that scored like a combined 1 goal in the playoffs for 3 years.
Yeah, I had mentioned. Well, wasn't Gaborik playing with like a separated shoulder? I can kind of almost give him a pass on that.
And Brad Richards only scored 1 important goal.
Brad Richards is the most overrated player to ever play the game by a lot, like a lot.
I was in person for his only hat trick.
Really? I was in person for a triple overtime Marian Gaborik in Washington.
Yeah, I watched that game on some bootleg Chinese stream in my dorm room by myself. I love that. You'll never forget where you are.
Just quickly looking at the Rangers, just kind of like cap situation. So they're looking at just under $24 million. If the projected salary cap is $81.5 million, the Rangers are looking at just under $24 million in cap space. So if you go, so you have Buchnevich, RFA. I mean, at this point, he played it like I think he was a trade candidate before last season, but now you got to keep him. There's no Howden, Sia. Gauthier is tough. I don't know where he's going to play. Like
he's going to get. He's
going to be.
He's
gone.
my guy that I think Seattle's going to take him.
Yeah, I think Seattle's
I'm fine with that. You have Hedel as an RFA. He won't be expensive. But really, you're only really looking at, and then Shesterkin is an RFA as well. So really, him and Booch are the big ones that might cost you a little bit. But maybe you can get away with a bridge deal for cheaper for those 2 guys. Maybe not Booch, but there'll be some money to throw around. So if you want to throw like $3.5 million at a guy like Cizikas, you can at least fit it, especially for 3 years. Without worries when other contracts come up in the future.
No, I'm completely okay with that. 2-1 Tampa, and Montreal is out shooting the crap out of them, which is actually surprising.
Yeah, I think Tampa had like 8 shots by late second. It was insane.
It's 33 shots to 19 right now. Interesting.
It's actually kind of cool to see Montreal's young players kind of like come as one right now in the playoffs.
Just remember the Rangers could have had Nick Suzuki, but they drafted Elias Anderson.
Yeah.
Instead.
Yeah.
Or they could have Martin Nakache as well, which drives me up a wall that the Rangers so heavily scouted Philip Hedel in the same league as Martin Nakache and just didn't see that he was the better player out of everybody. But whatever. Anyway, Clark needed.
Let's
Clark needed to be fired for
let's go to the Twitch for a second here. I got you guys. I'm assuming about the Rangers. You guys have the most young, promising talent in the NHL, bro. Honestly. Go pay for your superstar and develop your young guns. You could realistically win in 2 to 3 years.
Possible. It's possible. It really is. Is that Twitch B. Bustin who said that?
Yeah. Which I'm surprised. I didn't know he was a hockey fan.
Yo, your voice. What was that?
What'd I do?
You heard that too, right? He was like, I'm surprised.
Really?
Yes.
My voice in real life didn't crack, I promise.
It sounded like it.
Golly. All right.
I like Twitch B. Bussin even better now that he's a hockey fan. I mean, LA's got a promising young core as well. If you want to talk, we can talk about that for Twitch B. Bussin because I know
we can talk about the Kings.
He's a Kings fan. I mean,
let's pull up the Kings some Kings.
I mean,
information here.
first and foremost, I mean, I know they have. Why can't I think of his name now? They just drafted him. I can't even think of it.
What? From last draft?
Why can't I think of it now? I don't.
Byfield?
Yeah, Quinn Byfield, and then Turcotte is right after that too, which is going to be a deadly combo. I think I know a lot of people are saying they're not in on Eichel, but I think that they are.
I think they'd actually
be.
they'd be a really good team because you have one more year of Dustin Brown, and then when his money's gone, that's almost $6 million freed up. That's a good portion of Eichel's contract if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
So, I wonder but no, I mean, what's a realistic package? I guess from LA that would get Eichel.
Oh, I don't know, dude.
Like, I feel like Buffalo's not in a position. We didn't really mention it because we just kind of made fun of that one Sabres Twitter account about the unrealistic demands. But what's a realistic package? And we kind of said it to the Rangers. I said like a Niels Lundqvist, first round pick, and maybe another guy. But for these other teams, I mean, someone like LA with the young talent, maybe they have the prospects that you don't necessarily you can afford to lose to get a deal for him done.
You would think they're going to have to get rid of one of their top prospect goaltending pieces. I would think that in a package deal, probably that kid Villalta or whatever, however you say his name. He's 21 years old. He's their top AHL guy now because LA still is quick, and they're going to have Peterson as well, splitting time with him. So I don't really think they're going to need him right now. And they have another guy behind him as well, who's pretty good. So you got to think one of their two AHL goaltending prospects got to go. And then, I don't know, what are they strong? I feel that they're not at a point right now where they have a lot of depth to give away. You know what I mean?
From their actual team or from their prospect pool, because they have the best prospect pool in the NHL.
Exactly, but if I'm the Kings, I want to keep their prospect pool.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that the move makes sense. I just, for some reason, teams will want to kick the tires on it because Eichel he's not a prospect, but I mean, he's 24? I mean, if, like you said, I think Bruce said it, I think more than likely it would probably have to be some form of goaltender. I think Cal Peterson is off the table. Obviously, he's the goalie of the future, who played really well this year. I was surprised.
He's a good
especially
goalie.
When he went. Yeah, he's a very good goalie. He played really well in the
on a Kings team,
World Championships.
35 games, not 9/11 save percentage. 2.89 goals against.
So
on a Kings team, and he's been good the last couple of seasons. It's a little bit higher.
That's what I'm saying. His numbers are average for the NHL, but you're playing on the Kings, and they had awful defense.
So you have Drew Doughty. Who else is on this defense? Oli Mata.
Exactly.
Played, yeah. That's your.
You have Drew Doughty.
I just.
Not good.
They've got a lot of center depth. I know. I can imagine if they want Eichel, they'd be willing to give up Turcotte. I think that's probably what would happen. I know Byfield's probably off the table, and I mean, even after that, you could probably look at a guy like Gabe Vilardi or Tyler Madden as this focal point of that. I know Arthur Kaliev is another big part of that. He's a pure scorer. I really like him. Artie Party, I love that guy. But I think that Sabres are going to want some form of NHL talent as well, and I just don't know if the Kings have I don't know if the Kings should do it. Is where I'm at with that.
I mean, if you're talking about young, NHL talent, but the Kings just have they have so many centers. I mean, you look at some of their bottom guys like Vilardi, Anderson Dolan. I don't know if those guys are super young and they at least have NHL experience. I don't know if that's what the Sabres would be looking for of NHL talent, because I don't think there's anyone else on this team. You're not trading Kopitar, maybe Dustin Brown because he's an expiring contract to get him out of there to make the money work. But I don't know what else you want from this Kings team that's even in the NHL.
I mean, at that point, you're just punting it for the future, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like we've said too. I mean, like with Eichel, it's that you're not gonna get fair value back. I mean, Jesus Christ, Wayne Gretzky was traded, and that you know what I mean. You didn't even get fair value back on that. So, like I said, what would be and all right. So this is something I wanted to get to as well. By the way, if Twitch be busting, if you got anything you want to say about the Kings, feel free, drop it below. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, their fucking prospects are crazy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, just their center pool alone. I mean, Madden is great. I saw him play when he played for Northeastern. Then, I mean, obviously Byfield is going to be the stud. I mean, and Turcotte's not. They'll sneeze about as well. And then even with Gabe Villardy's coming on late too. He was the same draft as Anderson, the 17 draft. So
he's also on the team.
What do you think a fair deal from the Rangers for Eichel would be?
I mean, I kind of brought it up. I think Nils Lundqvist and a first and something else it gets it done. Maybe a Hedel.
I would say
I don't know.
Mine was Lundqvist, Georgiev, a first, and Kakko.
I think you can get away without giving up Kakko or Lafreniere.
I don't think you necessarily have to do that. I mean, I don't think you would. What was yours again, Tom?
Georgiev, Lundqvist, a first, and Kakko.
I think that's almost much. For me, I think realistically, it's probably like something like either Hedel or Strome. Keep them in there. More than likely, probably Hedel. So I'll stay Hedel. Probably like Zach Jones or Lundqvist. Those two could be interchangeable. A first, and then maybe like a future second or something like that. I think that's kind of. I'd feel comfortable with that.
I'm sorry. Like the big thing with this trade isn't so much like, well, okay, what's Eichel's value basing it? It's just there's zero leverage. Why? There's not many teams bidding for Eichel to begin with. Eichel has flat out said, I'm pretty sure he just wants to be with the Rangers or Boston. Maybe the Rangers are even off the table if his old coach isn't there anymore.
Yeah, but Buffalo is not just going to give him away, even if they have no leverage.
I get that, but if Eichel comes to them and says, "Listen, I want out, man, make it happen," and
it's asset management at that point. Yeah,
right. At that point, they'll get something, but like I don't necessarily. And this isn't me being like a Rangers Twitter homer, but 7th round pick for Connor McDavid. I think that's fair. Like I don't think it's going to take a ton to get him. It's just like do you want the contract? Do you want if he becomes a headache if the team isn't good?
What was the last like kind of big trade like this? What has there been one like that's been of this magnitude? I don't necessarily think I can think of one
where like arguably top
there's
10 player in the league is traded. I don't know, in his prime no less.
I can't necessarily think of one.
To be honest with you, we were probably involved in it. When Rick Nash got traded, he was a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's correct. All right, so, but how old was Nash at that time? Because I think he was a little bit older.
It was before that lockout shortened season, so 2011.
2011, 2012. That was the year.
Rick Nash now. Had to be in his late 20s, right? I think.
Let me see. I'll tell you guys right now. Hold on. I got it.
Nash is... He's 37 now.
Oh, he's 37 now, and that was 10 years ago.
But then he would have been 27, 28.
I know this sounds weird, but the age difference between 27 and 24 does make a difference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess similar situation.
It's not like a football guy. It's obviously those guys are still.
Who was in that deal? It was Dubinsky, Erickson, and who was the other guy? Somebody else in it. It was Dubinsky, Erickson, Anisimov, correct?
Yeah, because I remember him on Columbus.
There's so many trades with Columbus, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
That's right. I don't know, man. I like I said, I like the player. It's that cap, Ross. Like that cap. I just for me, I'd like to keep Lafreniere, Kakko, and Kravtsov. I think anybody else of those like prospect ilk, I think I would be fine moving, even if it's like Hedel, Jones, Lundqvist. Like Braden Schneider, I really hope he's gonna come to the league soon. I think he's gonna be very good. At the same time, like I wouldn't be like heartbroken about it if like he was in the deal. Like I just don't know.
Because at the end of the day, you can't not all these prospects hit. You can't keep them all. Keep some, but hey, if there's an opportunity to make a trade,
Dude, how nice is it that we actually have a deep prospect pool to talk about finally?
it's been
Not so much
years.
prospects anymore, but they're just like young talent at this point now because they've played this year. But I mean,
Yeah.
even still, I mean, Nils Lundqvist. I mean, like you said, Nils Lundqvist, Braden Schneider. I mean, Tormo Runen, if you want to consider him a prospect still. Zach Jones isn't really anymore, but he was. Just the problem is the way the prospect pool is constructed, in my opinion, is because they have no center depth, like nothing coming. They have Morgan Barron, who like clearly is just going to be like a depth player,
Yeah.
like, or maybe just like a fourth line, third line guy upside.
Maybe we make a deal with the Kings.
Love that. That'd be fantastic. And then other than that, it's like Carl Henriksen, who's like an undersized center who has like offensive upside, but
Actually, that's interesting. Would you give away some defense prospects or
Oh, yeah,
young players
absolutely.
for one of their center prospects?
Absolutely. Especially with the emergence of Fox, I would absolutely with the emergence of Fox. I think you're a little flexible now. I know what Lundqvist is doing in the SHL is for Luleå or for London. I can't remember which one he was with, but I want to say it's Luleå. But he's breaking records. Like he's up there for like young under 21 players.
Yeah.
But the problem I have is like you almost have like almost a lot of guys who do the same thing. Like I've always said this, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I would like my defenseman to be defenseman first, like that type of thing. And if you have that power play quarterback, that's fine. But I think Fox does that. I mean, who knows? Like you could bring in Lundqvist and he could just be the power play one quarterback and do it better than Fox. Who knows? Like obviously that's just projecting. But like, and I just if like for instance like LA today was like, hey, we'll give you Turcotte for Lundqvist in a second, I'd be like, absolutely done.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even think about it. Like, or even Braden Schneider.
Turcotte might. You could call him up like now. I think with how bad the center depth
He's
is.
close.
He wouldn't
He's
he wouldn't-
close. Yeah.
I don't even think he would sit in like Hartford or something.
Yeah. I mean,
would
like I
agree.
said, I mean, those deals
Because, like,
rarely
listen,
happen.
You only have six. You only have 6 spots. You already have Fox, Lindgren, Miller, Truba locked up. That's 4. So out of all these prospects, at the end of the day, you only need 2, and you don't even know all of them. You can just figure it out with the third pairing if you really truly have solid top 2. A solid 4 guys locked up.
I agree.
Surprised
figure it out.
Miller was this year. What a surprise. I didn't
Yeah,
see
man.
that coming. I really didn't.
Really? I was actually very high on Miller coming into the year.
was high on him. I just didn't think he was going to make the team this year because
He wasn't-
was a bit
He
of a
wasn't
project
amazing.
player.
Yeah, he wasn't amazing in college, and at the
Right,
juniors
exactly.
he wasn't great.
He was not. He was not very good.
Right.
But
So
people
the fact
do.
that he came
including
in
myself.
and was good.
No, people do overreact to the World Juniors. You're right, and I'm one of them.
They do.
That's all. Yeah, I was trying to say.
Real quick, we got Twitch. Lastly, on the Kings here said, keep our prospects for another year, develop our guys, keep stacking picks, and our homegrown talent should propel us to the cup in the future. I
I
mean,
think you're right. I think
it
he's
makes
right.
sense. It makes sense. The Kings are pretty stacked up. It looks to me, just by looking at their stuff, I've been looking the whole time we've been talking, they're weak on defense, even defensive prospects for the most part.
Time.
Great makes sense.
So,
Listen, call
Listen.
jury.
yeah.
You got to say.
We're actually no. We collectively in this podcast are the GM of the Rangers, so just give us a shout, and we'll make something happen.
I'm trying to look at their. Oh wow, yeah,
They're depleted on defense,
it's not great. It's not great.
but they're
This
forward
NHL
goal
talent's
great.
not there, and then it's nobody coming. It's literally like staring at our center depth.
Yeah, which is bad. That we have no center depth.
Right.
That is definitely bad.
Bjorn
They're making,
Fod's going to be good, and Michael Anderson's there now. He's going to be good in a few years too. But yeah, you're definitely I agree that the inverse of what it is. I feel like there's a plethora on the opposite end of the spectrum.
But hey, it is what it is, man. Having no center depth sucks. Having no defense depth is equally just as bad. So it is what it is. Cal Peterson is good, but he can't carry you with absolutely no defense.
And with the limited range, with the limited centers the Rangers have, they still can't win a fucking face-off. So anyone
Yeah.
that would help them improve there is helpful.
Yeah, that's the thing with me is like with Heedle's like clearly a wing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how many times did you see Rooney come off the bench, take the face off, and then dip off? And like, you know what I mean? Like you at a certain point, you just got to be like, okay, this guy's maybe he either is not developing. I mean, he was a good player.
Yeah.
He's also not.
Yeah.
He's log jammed.
He's a bottom six though. Like anyone expecting more.
I think he could be a top six, like a second line guy, had he be given the chance on the wing. On the wing, Bruce, where'd you go? Oh, there you're back. Like I don't know. Like I think Hedo's a perfect trade candidate. Personally, I'd like to see them move Kreider, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I would love that too. Look, I think me and Dennis, we agree on this. I haven't been a Kreider guy since 2012. I don't like Kreider. I am glad that he signed for a discount. Don't get me wrong. I was
I think
happy.
it's like a discount. I think the structure of the deal is a discount. I think they should have just moved him because I mean obviously it's before he had Lafreniere, but it's he's consistently inconsistent and like he went like for one span I think he went 15 games without a goal and like 18 without like a non-empty net goal or something like that. It's people keep saying all right. So how about this? I'm gonna perfect again natural segue.
Segway.
Is the pivot? The Rangers captain on this team.
Oh,
He's their
man.
captain.
I love this debate. I love this debate, dude.
I just want to hear from you guys. I've talked enough.
Should
I
I
think
go
it's
first?
Zibanejad from me. Sorry, I just took it. I think
You
it's
go.
Zibanejad. That's. I mean, it's just. I think he came over in that trade. I don't know. Everyone was kind of indifferent about it, and I think over the last, I don't even know how many years he's been here. I think the fans have just taken to him. He's a great player, and I think he's perfect. Do I know if he can step up to those duties that a captain needs? I'm not too sure, but I don't know who else would on that team. So that's why I say Zibanejad.
Thumb.
I said mine. I said this before he won the Norris, and I still think it's Adam Fox.
See, I could for sure see that too.
I think it is one of these young guys. I don't know. I think it could be a multitude of people. My thing with Zibanejad and Kreider, because I think those are the two hot names that a lot of people throw out, especially Kreider. To me, I think Kreider's too inconsistent for it. In a locker room, if a guy's going through a consistent slump like Kreider does, Kreider's the best player in the league for 5 games, and then it's 10 of just, it's gone. And in a locker room, if you're not bringing it every night, your message goes a little stale. With Zibanejad, I love the player. I think guys like him. To me, he screams like how McDonough was as the captain, and it clearly weighed on him. I kind of just would rather him just be that secondary leader and just kind of do his thing. I have 2 wild card candidates that I think I do agree. I think Fox could be that guy, or maybe even like a Lindgren. I'm not sure. Maybe Loff in a few years, but I think honestly it could be Trouba. And here's my wild card candidate. You might think I'm crazy, but if you watch the end of the year, I think Ryan Strome could also potentially.
Wow.
The captain of this team.
Wow.
He holds himself very well. He's very articulate with the media, and he just has that. I mean, he's played way above expectations since he's here, and you saw at the end of the year with all that Tom Wilson bullshit, who was the one forefront of that? It was Strome, and like I said, do I think it's going to be him? Probably not, but. For Trouba, I could see it too. I think the guys, now that Trouba's been here a little long enough, I think he's got this presence about him that the guys like. But again, I do think maybe Fox is that guy because with the Kreider and Zibanejad thing, I think if they were that, they would have named it by now. It's been 3 years. I don't know.
That's true too. Yeah. I mean, with Strome, you wonder, is he going to be here past the next? I forget when his contract's up. I don't know if it's after next season. But I think maybe only for that reason. If he was here longer term, I could agree. And Trouba, I've read Trouba somewhere else, so that you're not the first person that I've heard say throw out Trouba. So I could see it though. Again, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe it's another year of just bunch of alternates.
The reason why I like Fox is because I feel like you could name him captain, he could be the captain for 10, 15 years.
What didn't Colorado name like Landeskog the captain when he was like 19 and he's been the captain for however long or whatever?
Yeah.
21.
It's not.
21.
Oh, I forget what year, but either way, he was super young. So I mean, Fox is 23, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but too, and I think maybe this just kind of clicked with me. I think thank you, Tom, for bringing it up. Is now that he has that Norris, that's just is going to command respect. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's something about that. It's like when a guy gets big money in a locker room, money is power, that type of thing. And I think that hardware, like we said, it wasn't such a big deal up until maybe this year because the team was always Lundqvist's team. It had been for however many captains were there, except for maybe when Callahan was there, but it was always Lundqvist's team. And now I think that is something you're severely lacking, which is I really hope they do. And any of those guys, even if it's Kreider, or if it's Strome, or if it's whoever, I just want one. I think if they're deserving of it, give it to them, give them that title. So
I agree. I look at real quick. I look at Fox like again like a Brian Leetch style player, right? He has that potential. He plays that same play style, kind of. He has, in my opinion, he's shown he kind of has that leadership quality about him. And as you said, he commands respect off the ice, but he also commands respect on the ice. You even look at the opposing teams all of this season. No one says a damn word to Fox. No one even looks his way if they're not worthy of looking his way. So, to me, if the NHL guys are already commanding or already giving him that respect that he deserves at such a young age, that's a good sign for me, at least.
Oh, I would love to see get it, and I know won't, is Ryan Lindgren. I would love Ryan Lindgren to get the captaincy because that dude is just an absolute monster. That guy's just a warrior. I'd love to see that happen. I don't think it will, but that would be. I love that guy. He's my favorite Ranger by a lot. Hey, let's take a break from the hockey talk here.
All right.
Yeah.
What we also like talking about? We also like talking about food. You were talking about food and drink before. Listen, we can prattle on all day, and I'm sorry.
Let me get another drink. You guys.
You get a little long-winded. I apologize to anybody who's here in the chat who I went a little long-winded on some of my points, but NHL prospects are something that I am very fond of talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of like what we do, so you guys got to bear with us for that.
Yeah, so talk about it. I've been meaning to talk about it. I was hoping we didn't. I was gonna try to like recap the year, but it's been so long since it's happened. I kind of just was like, meh. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. But yeah. Anything else before we segue? Right.
I think we're good, though.
Food related. What are we talking about? By the way, you know what is a really cool? I'm just gonna say this. I got them the other day. Honey mustard Pringles. If you ever see them, get them. They are.
I haven't seen them. You told me, and I still haven't seen them. So
I'm gonna say, I thought you said that. I feel like you were eating them before we started one of these podcasts, like a week or two ago.
I was. They're so good, so good. By the way, just because it popped into my head, do you think the NHL is going to go to the Olympics? It just announced the All-Star Game is going to be in Vegas. Leads me to believe no.
I don't think so. Maybe again in 4 years. I don't want to say I'm over it, but I don't. Hockey's one where I don't hate it that it's all like college players and young players that represent the countries because it's still fun. It's not like I think if basketball tomorrow decided, we're not setting the NBA, I think it'd be like, all right, well, I'm not watching this horse shit.
Well, then you'd just be watching high school basketball.
Right, exactly. Whereas I think, well, granted, Russia's still going to send their guys because that's just how it is. But I still think it's fun watching those countries play in the Olympics even without the NHL guys. It was super fun. Like that 2010 run was just incredible, and it was so heartbreaking that OT lost to Canada with all those guys. So it did make it fun, but
horrible angle goal.
I know, but I still personally think it's fun watching. All the young guys go represent their countries, essentially like a big World Juniors again, I guess, but at the Olympics.
I was wishing they would do is they would send the World Juniors team, because I remember, was it whatever the last Olympics were, wherever they were, I forgot. And was it Russia? It was in Russia, right? I don't remember.
No, that was Sochi was the before.
Right. Whatever year, when they sent the 3 young guys, I think like Donato was there, Greenway was there, and somebody else was there, and they were like clearly the best. And honestly, if you just sent like the U20 rosters, because they're still technically amateurs at that point, I think I would much prefer that, because I think the hockey would just be better. And if it's anything like the World Juniors, if it's on a bigger stage of the whole world watching, I think it'd be even better. I don't know if they would go for that, but I mean, if the NHL players go there, I would absolutely adore that as well.
Yeah, so I'm on Team NHL. I want the NHL players to go.
Oh yeah, no, it's more fun.
I want them to go. I just don't think they will.
I know. I'm just on team either way. I think the hockey is still fun without the NHLers, but no, by a mile.
So I keep going back to like watching 2006 Olympics in Torino, Italy, and seeing Lundqvist win a gold medal, and then the next week coming back and playing for the Rangers. I was like, this is fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
With Rick DiPietro in net for the United States.
Yeah. Hey, he was good before his whole body gave up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys remember when he got a career-ending injury at the All-Star game?
His knee, right? Wasn't
that was his hip.
His hip?
Yeah, it was like a wraparound play. And
it's funny. I listened to his radio show. Listen to his radio show, DiPietro, Canty, and Rothenberg. It's really good. You guys should give that a try. It's really good. It was just like a New York sports talk radio, but it's really good. I'm looking at this USA 2016. There's a lot of people on here who I don't recognize at all.
Why don't you name a few, dude?
Anyway, Joe Corvo,
Ed
Suter, Phil Kessel,
okay,
Andy Hilbert, Patrick O'Sullivan. I remember him.
Wow.
He was going to be the next best thing. Marty Reasoner, Ryan Malone, Mark Cullen, not Matt Cullen, Mark Cullen, Jim Slater, Ryan Kessler, Richard Park, Stafford, Jan Statsny, Dustin Brown, Hal Gill, Adam Hall, David McKee, Craig Anderson, Ethan Bakash, I can't even pronounce that name, Freddie Meyer, Andrew Alberts, Brooks Orpik, Mike Komisarek. Maybe Peter wasn't on that team. Maybe DiPietro was 04.
How did USA not win gold with that roster?
I couldn't tell you, man. Could not tell you. Wait, no. Is this the roster? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Whatever.
I don't really care.
As long as Mike Komisarek's on it, that's all I care about.
Yeah. Or Hal Gill. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's incredible that you named him for representing his country.
Yeah, dude's a traffic cone, bro.
Thank you for your service. You remember what year was it when the Rangers played and he was like, I think it was it 2014 when he was on the Canadians and like he could not skate. He was rough, man. He was like, oh my god, he would have been good in like black and white television. Jesus.
I felt bad for Dustin Tokarski in that series. I really did.
I didn't.
He was thrown into a bad situation.
Yeah, remember when everybody just thought everybody thought he was really good? Like he just wasn't.
I was blown away that he definitely played for Buffalo like twice when he played in this year, and I'm like, this dude is still kicking around.
He actually
he was good, and he was good. And he was good this year, when, of course, because the Rangers played him, so the backups look like best candidates.
Did you see Don Granado's the how they announced it on Twitter with the meatballs and the spaghetti?
Yeah,
and meatballs? It's like, oh my god, this is hysterical. Like, I'm happy for Don Granado, especially because he was going to be.
The players liked him for sure by the end of the year, so he was like,
did a good job too.
It was an easy hire when it's like if you weren't going to get like Gallant or any other top names, just keep the guy in.
Hackett's still out there. He didn't get. I mean, the big surprise was Hackstall.
I don't know why. I don't know why they hired him.
They didn't get that one either.
Whatever, man. It's not my problem.
I'm actually stoked about it. So that means hopefully we won't have another expansion team going to the Cup final.
There's no chance. I don't think there's a chance that they're good. All these teams learn from Vegas. There's no way that they're gonna like make these.
You
like,
say that, but
deals
with
and-
the flat cap, teams are going to be looking for relief.
Yeah.
No,
guarantee you.
I get it, but I don't know, man. Vegas is like a once in like a lifetime type of.
Oh,
like,
that
expansion team
management, they hit they really
Yeah.
really did a good job. And plus, having Marc-Andre Fleury like helps. I don't
Well,
think.
I
that's
think
gonna be
you
available
you
for
knew
them.
going into the expansion draft that they were going to get their goalie situation was going to be good because you had Pittsburgh with Murray and Fleury, and you knew they could keep them. So you knew, all right, well they'll get a goalie out of this, and then I think a lot of those guys just came out of nowhere. I don't know if that happens again. I think they just
Jari. So bad. It's so bad.
I mean, to be honest with you, never mind.
Matt Murray sucks. Matt Murray sucks a lot too, though. So who knew that? I know Fleury's kind of went downhill, especially in this playoffs. But who knew?
Well, Marc-Andre
that
Fleury is a Hall of Famer. They just
Yes.
thought his time was up. Is really what it
It's
was.
it's funny because the Panthers are 1 year away from having that same goalie dilemma. So Seattle was 1 year away from getting Bobrovsky, probably.
Yeah, that's a dicey situation because I mean, you want to talk about mismanagement? They sign Bobrovsky that massive deal, and then they draft Spencer Knight in the first round.
And Spencer Knight's very good.
Knight's
saw
going
we-
to be very good. He's
saw
going to
him
be the
play.
backup next year. Yeah. He won a game. He won a game. He won the first game, didn't he?
Yeah,
Came in. He did, didn't he? Yeah.
yeah, he's
He's gonna be
a
really good. Him, because there's a kid this year. Because I mean, you had Askarov last year, who's going to be a stud. Who I know, if you know anything about goaltending, his style is just so funky. It's awesome. Like he is.
Yeah,
just,
he's unreal. He's an unreal player. He, in my opinion, it was a sin that he dropped out of the top 10.
didn't.
but-
He was the 9th overall pick. Askarov.
Askarov? I thought he was the 11th pick. Oh, my bad then.
Nice to the Predators.
I know he went to Nashville, but that's a great place for him too because they have nothing. To be honest with you, Saros isn't that great, and Rene's old, and they need some rejuvenation there. So I think Askarov could get playing time soon.
Rene's a free agent too. I think he might retire. I can't say for sure, but he might. But
Yeah.
because this year's draft, there's a kid Wallstead that's supposed to be another first round caliber goalie.
There's two first round projection goalies.
The other one's Canadian kid, right?
Let me pull up his name. I'm getting these kids confused.
I know Wallstead's the big one. I know he's the
Yeah.
Swedish
He's
kid.
the big one.
Yeah, there's also, if you're ever interested, a guy that I follow does a podcast. He does a really good job. He's a Greek guy from New York City, Steve Kornianos.
Oh,
He's a draft guru, and he like does these hour-and-a-half long podcasts about teams' farm systems and draft needs and stuff.
Okay.
For each team, every team. He just did like a Kraken one, which was awesome. So it's called The Draft Analyst. If you ever look that up, it's fantastic. I highly recommend it to anybody at that point. 2021 mock draft. I don't know enough about the draft this year. I wish I could talk a little bit
I think
more
that, I mean,
about it.
it's clearly not as strong. You don't have I don't think you have your top end guys that might be NHL ready like you did last year, like
No.
Lafreniere and Byfield and Stützle, guys like that.
There's no this year supposedly, and this is obviously this could change, but from what I've heard is not as strong as it has been in the past, and Owen Power is probably going to go first.
Oh, here it is.
Matt,
It's, real quick, his name is Sebastian Kosa from WHL. He went 17 1-1 with a 1.57 goals allowed average and 941 save percentage and 4 shutouts last year in 19 games for the Western Hockey League.
Teams he played for?
Forgot they actually played last year because like the OHL just was gone
He
again.
played for the Oil Kings. Oh wait, yeah, WHL Oil Kings.
They're like higher end prospects in Canada. But I'll look into that one more. I know that Wallstead has been for a while going to be the
Well,
big one.
Wallstead should be a top 10 pick again.
Somebody said the other day that it wouldn't be a bad idea for the Sabres to take him. They have nobody in that system.
It wouldn't
They
be.
haven't
who's it
for a
then?
long time.
Pekka Luukkonen and Olmark, I think, is really
Yeah,
it. I mean,
Lars
Olmark's
Ullmark.
like so.
I think the last goalie they I think like were shooting on was, I think, Robin Leonard before he actually got really good. Well, good enough. Because he was brutal when he was on the Sabres.
Something that they've only drafted since, I think they've only drafted like 3 goalies since Ryan Miller left or something like that, which
Yeah.
is crazy to me.
Right.
I know that they're high on Pekka Luukkonen, but like,
Well, Luukkonen is the hold on, he is what number? The 5th ranked prospect in goaltending right now,
right. But
which is pretty damn good. I mean, whatchamacallit, Wallsted's the 10th best prospect, and he hasn't even been drafted yet. Of any,
I told you. He plays very similar to this guy right here. That's his style. So
Yeah.
he plays very deep in his crease and stuff like that. I'm actually really excited for him. But
It's a more European style of play.
absolutely. All right, I've had enough talking about hockey.